Welcome back to East London Grand Prix Circuit and round 4 of the Extreme Festival. Round 5 now of the Investchem Formula 1600s and Formula Ford Kents. Welcome to action now as they roll to the grid of the Investchem Formula 1600s, joined by the Formula Ford Kents this weekend. Siyabonga Munkukwana outgunning everybody and beating the championship leader Troy Donishek to pole position here. Casey Ensel-Smith with his best outing in third ahead of Antoine Geldenhuys, and Nicholas Van Wheelie with Jason Coetzee alongside him. On pole position, of course, at the front end of the Formula Ford Kents, it's Ian Schofield and Duncan Foss side by side as we head down towards turn 1 Potter's Pass for the very first time. We go on board here with Gerard Geldenhuys. Didn't have the qualifying he wanted. A long way back here for G. He's going to have to do some serious work to get through this pack. And he's already side by side with Alex Foss and right on the tailpiece of Jason Coetzee as they head into Potters. Great start from Duncan Foss. He leads things out in the Formula Ford Kents. Right on his tail is Schofield, and a welcome return there for Rick Morris. Great to have Rick Morris back in this pack as they head down towards Cochabana for the first time. This is the 1600 field, and Munkukwana getting a great start from that pole position leads out over Troy Donishek. Foss under a little bit of pressure. Looks like the pressure's coming from Morris as well, onto the back end of his good friend Ian Schofield. And Hepburn looking to catch them out and bounce if he can. We go on board here with Morris. This is a great shot here over the shoulder of Rick Morris, multiple Formula 4 champion in his own right, and of course has just come back from a serious podium at the Donington circuit only a couple of weekends ago. So it's great to have him there, and of course he was running against 65 other Formula 4s in that weekend. So the Formula Ford Kent class, as always, at the back end, well, as I say, as always, only because he hasn't had a lot of seat time. Ron Van Wheelie is in the mix as well. Let's get on board here with Donishek as he looks for the lead, heading up towards Beacon in the Formula 1600s. Later on the brakes than Siyabonga Munkukwana and sneaks up the inside. So we got Donishek, championship leader, leading things out as they come to cross the line. On his tail, Munkukwana. Then it is Van Wheelie. Van Wheelie being pushed and pressurized right at the start there. Almost all of that first lap from Antoine Geldenhuys. And now side by side. Oh, what a drive there from Siyabonga Munkukwana. He just got much better drive coming out of Beacon, and he's bringing along Van Wheelie. Oh, and there's a touch in Potters. What are you thinking? Into Potter's Pass, two wheels locking up in single seaters. That could have been absolutely horrendous. Those two coming together there, and Van Wheelie very lucky to survive that, but unfortunately he's dropped back about 4 or 5 positions. Coetzee's got through, so has Foss, so has Casey Ensel-Smith as they come under braking now down into Cochabana. Looks like there might be a little bit of damage, I think, on Van Wheelie's car. He's dropped right to the back of the pack and under attack now from Karaba Malamela and from Gerard Geldenhuys and even Storm Lanphier. Jason Coetzee, he had the best view in the house of that little maneuver, and he's now trying to make his own maneuver as he comes right onto the gearbox of Casey Ensel-Smith. Side by side with Alex Foss, gets around the outside, and diving on the inside is Gerard Geldenhuys. I didn't think that was going to make it. Gerard Geldenhuys had a look, the door was open, but unfortunately, as you can see, he goes onto the curb. Phew, that's a bit of a rough maneuver to get back on track. He's probably going to come on just ahead of the Formula Ford Kents, and they get through on him. So those Kent category cars had to be well aware of the spinning car as we saw Gerard Geldenhuys having a big go to get on the inside. Didn't quite work out though. Well, Van Wheelie's got whatever he had problems sorted out. Now he's coming back. I thought there might be damage, which is why he dropped back so rapidly. There was a huge touch between him and Donishek in Potter's Pass. That's something you don't want to be doing in a single-seater. In any form of motorsport, you don't want to touch in Potter's Pass. And they both seem to get through and survive. One car hasn't survived. We just saw it parked on the sideline there. That's Andrew Schofield, the Fly Sapphire car, unfortunately parked on the entrance there to Potter's Pass. And now we see some maneuvering. Is this Antoine Geldenhuys having a go? He is certainly looking like he's the most dangerous car out there at this stage and has just put in one of the hottest laps of the race. Looking to try and find a way through on Donishek as Munkukwana is just pulling away at the front end. Can they close him down? They've got enough laps in hand. Casey Ensel-Smith wants to get back at Jason Coetzee. Those two had a little bit of almost a touch between the two of them. It was one of the reasons we saw Gerard Geldenhuys go off. And there is Gerard. Look at this, at the front end, it's Schofield now who leads out. Foss has dropped to third, under attack now from Hepburn in the Formula Ford Kents. A little bit of chopping and changing there between Schofield and Morris. They've got through on Foss. Foss must have made a mistake somewhere, and he's dropped into the clutches, as I said there, of Hepburn. Casey Ensel-Smith trying to find a way back at Jason Coetzee, looking for a chance of getting onto that podium if he can. They're not too far off that podium battle. Munkukwana hangs on for the lead for now. Donishek is closing though. You can see the pressure that's coming from Antoine Geldenhuys is up the pace there from Donishek's point of view, and he's now starting to close that gap and bring Munkukwana back into his clutches. As they cross the line, another lap completed. Ensel-Smith not quite close enough to have a go, maybe under slipstream there on Jason Coetzee. And everybody else just streaming through there. Shren Naidu, Storm Lanphier. As I said, Gerard Gelderneys is just ahead of this little pack as they come to complete another lap. And Schofield now pulling away. And Schofield is the man to catch in the Formula Ford Kents. Monkonkwana, his stablemate, is the man to catch in the Formula 1600s. And Antoine Gelderneys has got through on Troy Dolenchek. On board here with Dolenchek as they go onto the beach straight, trying to come back at Antoine. Has he got the drive? Looks like he might have. He's going to be on the outside of gate corner. That's a difficult overtaking maneuver to make. He'll try and maybe take the late apex and try and get into the S's first. They're going to gate. There it is. And as they fly through there, as I said, cut back there from Dolenchek. He opens the door slightly, so it might just open up a chance there, but Jason Goodseel wasn't close enough. A little bit of a slide from Antoine. Oh, Dolenchek's putting that pressure on, and Antoine Gelderneys is feeling it. He slides that back end out, coming out of the left-hander, and into the right, he tries to hang on. Dolenchek is all over the back of him. Goodseel right there as well. How's this? There's 5 cars battling for second here. Casey Ensel-Smith has joined this party, and he's going to be part of this party for the rest of the season if he keeps up this kind of driving. All of a sudden, he's found something special here at the East London Grand Prix circuit. Hepburn up the inside of Morris. Looks like Foss might try as well in the Formula Ford Kents, looking for second place. Morris gets demoted to third. He's side by side, possibly down to fourth. No, he just comes across and shuts the door and gets into the slipstream there from Hepburn. How's that for experience? Defending and attacking at the same time, coming from a man who, of course, in his career of racing, was, of course, touted to have beaten the great and late Ayrton Senna in a Formula Ford. So he definitely knows what to do when he gets into a single-seater. Antoine Gelderneys now looking for a chance to go slightly higher up. Late on the brakes, they come up on, that looks like Lieutenant Colonel Alan Mayer. They've just gone past. And now looking for a chance now to squeeze through. So there's a bit of chopping and changing here. Jason Goodseel has moved up one position. He's got through on Gelderneys, and Antoine wants back at him. He's having to go defensive because Casey Ensel-Smith is right behind. You just catch a glimpse of that mint-coloured car just behind it, and the Coach Mint Works machine out in front. Hepburn from, this is Monkonkwana closing onto the back end now of Hepburn, going for a possibility. Oh, he slowed up slightly. Something's gone wrong here on Monkonkwana's car in the closing stages. They've got 1 lap to go, and Dolenchek has caught him. So Troy Dolenchek has got onto the back there of Sia, and Sia seems to be in trouble on this last lap. The slipstream effect could come into play here as they head down towards Cochabana. Let's see if Dolenchek can get a little bit closer to that car. He does. He rails that corner. Absolutely brilliantly done from the man from that Sugen Properties machine. And he's now trying to close down on the Investchem Race Driver SA car. Dolenchek late on the brakes. He's going to have a go here into Cochabana. Oh, you don't want any touching wheels. Remember what happened last year? Oh, Monkonkwana. I think he remembered that. That's why he went onto the grass. He saw Dolenchek coming. He tried to close the door and just couldn't shut the door. They did touch wheels. Fortunately, didn't roll over like last year, but Monkonkwana is back on track. He drops back down to about 5th or 6th place. Looks like it is 6th place, just behind Alex Voss. So the 3 cars fighting for second head towards gate with Dolenchek now a comfortable lead, heading into the last part of the last lap. So brilliant stuff there from Troy Dolenchek. Timed it to perfection. Found a way on the ailing car from Race Driver SA and Investchem, and Monkonkwana couldn't keep him out. So it's going to be Dolenchek for another victory. That's, I think, 4 or 5 victories in a row there for Troy. Amazing run here from him, and he heads to his home circuit, of course, after this round. So he's certainly going to have possibilities of that championship heading his way if he can keep it all together for the next couple of laps. That'll be that next couple of laps of the next race as he's taken the first one and wins out over Jason Goodseel. Second place, and a brilliant run there from Antoine Gelderneys, keeping out Casey Ensel-Smith, who has one of his best finishes ever in 4th. Foss is in the top 5. Schofield wins out the Formula Ford Kents, beating Duncan Foss and Rick Morris for the top 3.
Yeah, happy with the result of race 1, obviously. I think also good to come up with some really good race pace. Was really happy with that. Had a really nice start, initial getaway. We were side by side with Sia, and then had quite a clean first lap. Stayed in second, so I was happy with that. And then tried to work my way forward. Got past Sia, and then he got back past me, and then it was a bit of a waiting game. And then Antoine was also really quick, as well as Jason and Nick. So it was difficult. I had to fight with them a bit, and that's when Sia got away a little bit. So just really happy with the result. And thank you to Eugene and my dad and Hendrik once again for the help this weekend.
Yeah, look, I mean, it was quite decent. Yeah, obviously I was trying to bank points there, as we didn't really have the best qualifying earlier. But at least we made some ground. I'm really happy about that. A second, obviously not a win, but I'll definitely take it. Well done to Troy. Yeah, brilliant race. I think the next race should also be good. I'm hoping to obviously just try and get some more points.
It was a tight race. The start wasn't that great, but I think a lap 4 worked my way up to second place, and then just after that, just managing the slipstream was really a tough challenge. And then at the end of the time, I finished third, while you can drop back to 6th and up to 3rd again in one corner. That's how close it was. So it was a lot of fun.
Welcome back to the East London Grand Prix circuit. What a picturesque circuit in the background. The wind has picked up though, so that might have a small effect on these single-seaters into their second race. Investchem Formula 1600 is putting on a massive show here for the big crowd that's come out for Extreme Festival's National Round 4 here in East London. And the rollout now for race number 2. Rick Morris will be looking to try and get onto the top step of the podium. Outgun his teammate and of course good friend Ian Schofield. It was a great dice between the two of them and Duncan Voss. Graham Hepburn will be looking to join that party. Donishek will be starting from the front row, so he's definitely going to be a man to watch out for. Siabonga Mongongwana alongside him, and we'll be looking to try and capitalize on that front row. And we're about to go racing. We've got green lights. The red lights go. Oh, and Mongongwana with another jump start. A similar thing to what he did at Swartkops only a couple of weekends ago. Nicholas Van Wheelie, he's looking at his helmet going, oh no, not again, Sia. As they head towards Potters. Oh, Casey Ensel-Smith has had a fantastic start as well. And they are side by side, Donishek and Casey Ensel-Smith, as they head through Potters. We saw them touching in the first race. It's once again Duncan Voss who leads in the Formula Ford Kents. Much better start there from Ron Van Wheelie. He's definitely got a little bit more pace in his car. The magnificent paint and hardware machine there in 4th place with Lieutenant Colonel Alan Mayer behind that. And they've got Rick Morris just ahead of them. They come under braking now. Formula 1600s fanning out, trying to find a way through and chopping and changing as they get to Cocobana for the first time. And in the background you can see, the pressure is on. Duncan Voss getting away slightly on the start as he did in the first heat. And Schofield is going to try and close him down. Mongongwana going to try and disappear at the front end, as he did at Swartkops. With that jump start now, he's going to have to try and get 30 seconds or more to stay in contention with the guys fighting behind. Casey Ensel-Smith is up to 2nd place. Donachek into 3rd with Van Wheelie all over the back of him. And then it's Jason Gutsia. So the usual contenders at the front end. Good to see the Fly Safari car back on track. Schofield in 5. He's got Antoine Gelderneys side by side, as you can see with Gerard, his brother. And they're both trying to find a way through there on Alex Voss as they come out of the complex. Late braking from Mongongwana. He's going to just try and get away. That's the best thing he can do. Try and negate anything that went wrong there with that jump start. The two Gelderneys boys have got through now on Voss. Shrin Naidu tucked in behind that. So Shrin Naidu is trying to help out his stablemate there as they cross the line and complete the first lap in anger. How's these cars? 280 k's an hour as they head towards Potters. Brilliant stuff. And then they just climb off the loud pedal ever so slightly, settle the car down and into Potters. And the 4 cars fighting for second now, starting to get a little bit more real. Voss now, the meat and the sandwich between the two Gelderneys boys. So he's lost out there ever so slightly to Gerard. We're back on board with Nicholas Van Wheelie as they head down and almost touch wheels down towards Cocobana Corner. They were warned by the COC, don't lock wheels, and we saw some huge touches in the first one and almost a big one there as well into Cocobana. Could see her hanging on. Nicholas Van Wheelie giving him just enough room to squeeze through and survive into Cocobana Corner. We're on the beach straight now and on board with Jason Gutsia, the Coachman's work machine, having a fantastic run here, looking for a chance to get slightly higher up as he sees Donishek on the attack, and Troy's through. Ensel-Smith into 3rd place. It's Gutsia in 4, behind that Van Wheelie. Then we've got Schofield, and you can see it's Gerard Gelderneys with a much better start this time. Hasn't ended up on the dirty stuff. He stayed on the black stuff and he's now pushing hard. The crowd's in the background loving this action from the Formula 1600s. Back on board with Jay as they head towards Beacon. He's going to try and close things down now on Casey. Casey Ensel-Smith is going to go defensive and try and keep Jason out. Yes, he does. He blocks that inside line and it will compromise his drive slightly out of Beacon Corner, but hopefully not too much. In fact, it didn't at all. He pulled a slight margin over Jason. Maybe Jay didn't quite get it right because Van Wheelie's now in the slipstream and looking for a chance to get through on Jason Gutsia. He pulls out of that slipstream heading towards Potters. Has he got enough of the squirt to get through? Looks like he might have. We'll see him rail Potters if he does. And not even lift there. That's brilliant stuff there from Nick Van Wheelie. He stayed on it all the way through, and I think that might have got him through on Jason Gutsia. Yes, it has. Just pick up Gutsia's car in the background on that rearview mirror. But what a start here from these guys, as always. So we got a change up there between Van Wheelie and Gutsia. As they come under braking, Van Wheelie now sets his sights on Casey Ensel-Smith, and already an attack from Gerard Gelderneys. And Antoine Gelderneys goes on the inside of Andrew Schofield. So the two Gelderneys boys making their way to the front rapidly. Top 2 in Formula Ford Kents, Duncan Voss and Schofield. Fight on for 3rd place in the background. You can see it starting to rage there between Alan Mayer. He's made his way up, and looks like there might be a little bit of problem there for Rick Morris. Another lap completed for the Formula 1600s as they come across the line. Once again, Van Wheelie going to try and use the slip. He's maybe a little bit late to use it, but he's going to go anyway. He pulls out of Casey Ensel-Smith's slipstream and goes around the outside of Potters. Makes it stick. So we got Nicholas Van Wheelie making his way up slowly but surely to the front end. Now as we get into the complex, this is Antoine Caldenace through on Jason Coetzee, so he's also starting to tick them off one by one, slowly but surely making his way to the front end. Jason Coetzee now falls into the clutches of Schofield and of Alex Voss. Alex Voss looking for a chance now as they come out of the right-hander. He's looking for good drive. Oh, look at that. The front end of that car is just sliding out of that right-hander. So there's a little bit of handling issues there for Jason Coetzee to worry about. It's not quite getting the grip that's required. And Dolacek now starting to get the grip on and looking for a chance to close things down there on the man who got the jump start. He doesn't have to worry about passing Sia because he would have realized that Sia made a jump start. So he knows there's going to be issues. Issues starting to be felt here between the two Formula Ford Kent guys as Voss hangs on to keep out Schofield. Once again, this is Van Wheelie. He is on a fly here the second race. He's not put a wheel wrong at all. Can he drive around the outside of Kokobana to get through on Dolacek? No, he can't. Dolacek just slightly later on the brakes. And now let's see whether Nick can get through on him on the beach straight. He's got slightly better drive because he didn't have to go on the defensive. So that drive is going to help him onto the beach straight. And there is the slipstream. But he's got to go around the outside of gate corner. Also a difficult passing maneuver to make in a single-seater. But it looks like he's done it. Yes, he has. Perfectly done there from the multiple champion. Remember, this man has won a couple of single-seater championships in his career. And he's now got the man looking for a championship, Troy Dolacek, on his tail. He's made up one place. So he now basically takes the lead of the race. Monkonkwana with that 30-second penalty. If I look at the timing board at the moment, Monkonkwana will probably drop right out of the top 12 and to the back of the pack. Change up between Schofield and Voss. Then Schofield gets through on Duncan Voss as they head towards Kokobana and up towards Beacon. Dolacek looking for a chance now on the final attempt out of Beacon corner. They're going to run to the line. It's going to be side by side. No, there's not. Looks like he's going to try and get a little bit of slipstream. Can he pull out in time? No, unfortunately not. Van Wheelie hangs on. He'll get the victory even though Monkonkwana going through for the win. You can see his sister on the sideline there. Absolutely ecstatic. Nick Van Wheelie taking the win. Dolacek in second place. Casey Enselmith in third. Gerard Caldenace beats out Jason Coetzee for the top 5. And Schofield wins out again in the Formula Ford Kents.
We had a very good race too. Finally a win. Sheepers, we've been trying at it for a couple of years now and been working so hard, and finally we got the car to a win. We had to work for it. We started 4th and had to work our way up. The car was just beautiful the second heat, and what more can we ask for? A great win. Thank you to all the sponsors, Furtec Tiling, Hamilton's, Magnificent Paints and Hardware, Supercar Bakery, and also the simulator. All the guys, it's a great win. Long time coming. It's very, very happy.
Had an amazing start. Went around Troy on the outside of Potters. Held first for the first 2 laps, and then Troy got me I think on lap 3 or 4. And then I fought against Van Wheelie for a few laps. He got past me, and then they just maintained the gap against me.
Heading to the penultimate round in Cape Town at Killarney International Raceway. Dolacek has got the lead over Jason Coetzee. It's Nicholas Van Wheelie who's moved up into third place now and put Gerard Caldenace 5 points behind him.